Hi ladies, it's me and I'm back with another video. It's Melissa here with Desert Gal, the ministry for women. And so this particular video is birthed out of an experience that I have had. A sister told me not too long ago that I have a right to my opinion. And I started thinking about this and really started utilizing that and walking in it, and it was a disaster. So I had to go before the Father and just kind of say, okay, this sister told me I had a right to my opinion about things. And as I started speaking to different people or even brothers or just the men in my life, I started thinking to myself, like, I have a right to my opinion. I have a right to voice how I feel, to voice how I think, to whatever. And the Father was like, no. Where in Scripture do I tell you you have a right to your opinion? And I started thinking, and not one verse could come to mind. I'm like, okay, so how does this work? Because we live in a society where everybody has an opinion and everybody feels justified in sharing their opinion, and everyone feels justified in executing, trying to get their opinion to be manifested. It's not just one thing for a person to think something, but then they want it. And men and women today are very much encouraged to be go-getters, to pursue, to go after the things that they want. But in Scripture, we're actually never told that, men or women. We're never told to go and pursue the things that we want. We are actually told to surrender our will to the Father, and He will then make His will known to us so we know what to do and how to obey. So there's not one verse that says that I have a right to my opinion or that I even have a right to voice it. As a matter of fact, it does say that I have to subject everything to Abba. And I just wanted to share this verse with you because I believe this verse also makes sense for us with the men in our lives. So it's Philippians 4, verse 6. Be anxious for nothing, ladies. Absolutely nothing. But in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to Yah, to God, to Elohim. And the peace of Yah, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Messiah Yahushua. That right there is the key for how we are supposed to be with the men in our lives, whether it's our natural fathers, our natural brothers, or someone that Abba is bringing into your life for you to come into covenant with. And this is how we're supposed to be with our husbands. If we have a concern, or we have an opinion, or we just feel that we know how things are going to go, and we feel like we have to warn and make our voice known, we are first and foremost supposed to go to the Father and get His opinion and His mind on the matter. At that point, we may either just pray about it or worship about it, or we just kind of put it on a shelf, whatever our concern is. Or Abba will tell us, okay, go and share with the men in your life what your concern is. And we do it with humility, with gentleness, and we come and present it as something that we are giving to the man. Not just telling him about it that we are then going to do something about it. That's not it. Just like how this scripture verse says, make your requests known unto the Father, and just leave it with Him, and then He will give you the peace. That's the very same thing we do with the men in our lives. We make our requests known in humility and in gentleness, we leave it with them, and then we walk away with peace in knowing that we've already done our part. There is nothing more for us to do. We don't have to talk them into it. We don't have to coerce them into thinking how we think about it. We don't have to let them know like, oh my gosh, this is what Abba told me and this is how it has to be. Because guess what? We don't really know. Ultimately, yes, you know the Father's voice, but we don't ultimately know what the Father is going to do with what he has shown us or told us. And I know for myself, I love guessing games and they get me in trouble. So I love mysteries. I grew up loving mysteries and wanting to solve them all and try to figure out puzzles and games and everything. But I'm not allowed to do that. I am only allowed to take what the Father has given me, make my request known to the men in my life, and leave it there. Don't do anything else with it unless Abba tells me or the men in my life tell me to do something with it. Other than that, it is completely up to the Father and the men in my life to do the next step. And this walk is a walk of faith, and it's an amazing one. So, ladies, if you feel like you are justified in sharing your opinion and making your opinion known to the men in your life and then trying to execute it, you are sorely mistaken. And it is very disrespectful to do so. We don't do that with Abba. We don't go to him and tell him how to do things or tell him what our thoughts are and then ask him to fulfill our thoughts or fulfill our desires or fulfill our wants. And if we do, then that's not scriptural. We are to make our requests known to the Father. And in the same way, our relationship with Abba mirrors the relationship with the men in our life. We then too are supposed to go to the men in our life and make our requests known to them and leave it there. No need to bring it up again, because we know that Abba says we can walk away with the peace that surpasses all understanding, and everything will work out okay. Why? Because we're being obedient. We're walking in order with the Father's word. This is what he tells us to do, not just with him, but with others. Submit one unto another. So I just wanted to share that with you and encourage you that this is another little piece of the puzzle that the Father has given me in knowing how to learn and grow and eventually become the woman that he wants me to be in a godly relationship and covenant with my future husband. So thank you for listening. I hope this has helped. Shalom.